Hey everybody, it's Galmanex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm while I'm out on vacation. Another pre-recorded draft. I thought I would mention that even though technically it's the current set, so you can all play it right now anyways. This is not a particularly confusing video, but just so you know, I am still on vacation. I think this will be the last vacation video. I think I'll be back for a video recorded, you know, a day or two before it gets uploaded tomorrow. We'll see. I think this is the final vacation video. I don't know. I'm going to stop rambling here. We got one of the best rares in the set as our pack one, pick one. Let's get into this draft that's guaranteed to be exciting, and let's be a big idiot. Craterhoof is much worse than Meringue River Regent, but still a really fun bomb rare to try to play in the late game if you can play the big 5-color splashy decks that have a lot of ramp going for them as well. And I kind of can't resist. It's a pretty fun, different direction to go this draft than we did last time. Last time we were a really aggressive kind of Mardu builds. Let's go the opposite end of the spectrum here. Play for our big late game plays. Riverwalk Technique would be the best card towards that strategy. Although it is significantly worse than Sun Pearl Kieran, so I think I'm still supposed to speculate here just in case we get completely cut off of green. It is possible. If like everybody in the pod wants to play 4-color. Pick 4? Oh boy. Pick 4 War Effort for Mardu. Nothing good for blue-green ramp. The only card I'm missing out on by speculating here is Champion of Dusan or Durgar Island Dragon, which are both much later picks than pick 4 for their decks. Mardu Devotee as well is a good sign. Again, neither of these picks had a good option for the grindy late game decks. So I don't think this is that speculative. Once again, no Globe, not even the Harmonize ramp card, no Inoc Wayfarer or any of that stuff that picks up an extra land, no monuments. It's just Pack Beast. Pack Beast is 5 times as strong as every other card in this pack. I might not get to do the thing. I could be Boros Splash Blue, but really not looking like a Craterhoof pile. Well, there's Dispelling Exhale. This is the first pick we see a genuinely great card for like blue-green late game decks. And there's nothing much for aggro. There's Salt Road Skirmish if we go Boros Splash Black. That feels pretty unlikely to me though, right? Because even if we end up in Boros, we can splash blue for River Regents and use Coil and Cash until I draw double blue. I think we're supposed to take Exhale there. I don't like this pack for either direction I'm headed right now. Teamer Devotee and Dragon's Prey are the cards. Dragon's Prey has some overlap for either deck. If we become Mardu, splashing in black for Dragon's Prey would be okay. And if we go full 5-color Regent Behemoth, obviously a splashed in Dragon's Prey is not bad at all. Alright, we're in a pretty competitive draft bot, I feel. Nobody is letting anything valuable slide late. So this is going to be a rough one. It's going to be a hard one to get a strong deck because we're against a bunch of experienced drafters, and when we get into gameplay, we could be playing against players who had much more open draft pods than this. This is a tough one. Serpent or Whisper are the only options, really. Maybe the green-white land. Okay. Maybe this pod is not as difficult as I thought because there's still some exhales here. Pick 9. Maybe the packs were just really weak. Probably the Osseous Exhale here. Yeah. And then, yeah, now we're on pick 10. I generally don't expect to find anything good at that point, no matter what. And we certainly didn't, but Rebellious Strike is borderline playable in Boros. And everybody else sucks. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Second half of that pack was awful. And the first half of the pack, the only good cards were... It was like take 2 really good late game cards, and then the best cards by far were just some good aggro cards, and then it went dry. So We're kind of flip-flopping between stuff right now. There is a Sagu Wildling for the 5-color late-game-oriented deck and a Shocking Sharpshooter for the best Boros card. Siegebreaker and Sarkhan obviously good too, but the Sharpshooter I think is the best for all the chip damage that it can provide. I'm only 1 card deep into red, and it didn't feel particularly open. So I don't actually think that I'm supposed to take these Boros spells, because they don't mean that they're open. We literally just opened this pack, so it just means that we opened up Boros cards. I think I'm supposed to go Sagu Wildling and try to take it that direction. God, dude. Get past the Zergo. If I had locked in on the Boros. But Dragon Sniper's very good for the green. Wayfair is decent as well, and Rebuff is decent. I like that Rebuff fits with blue-white at the core. If we do some Jeskai control deck or something. Jeskai Dragons was a pretty fun control deck we played last time, and Jeskai Shrinekeeper is a very good value play for that deck. I'm actually going to lock it on Shrinekeeper. It's a pretty fun path to take this, and I do feel that the Jeskai colors themselves are some of the most open. Not the red, but the blue and the white. So now a Sun Pearl Kieran or a Fleshcrafter are both really nice. I do like Fleshcrafter a lot in this set. There are plenty of like really big bomb creatures with great enter effects. Copping one of those for only 4 is ridiculous in the right matchup. Pick 4 Sibsig Appraiser is beautiful. Again, the blue and the white looking great here. Sibsig and a Pack Beast being the best cards in this pack. By not a huge margin, because Martyr Monument's also great, but these 3 are way better than everything else. Pick 5. Focus the Mind is solid. Splash into black and Lotus Light Dancers is fine. It's basically just a 3/6 lifelink in this deck. No other ability, but 3/6 lifelink is sturdy. Rather stick to our blue-white control deck at the core, where Focus the Mind is great. This pack is not the greatest, but Narset's Rebuke is fine. And get a couple exhales early. Does look like just Jeskai Dragon's control. Here's some fixing. Dragonstorm Globe is great for the Dragons decks. I've got the Shrinekeeper and the Regent. We can take a couple more dragons later. Oh, Dispelling Exhale is competing though. I'm really only 2 colors with a splash, so the fixing isn't that important on this card, and I'm only 2 dragons deep. Yeah, Dispelling Exhale I think is too important to pass up for that globe here, as we're not the full 4 or 5 color version of this or anything. I wouldn't mind another Serpent, but if we find any good dragons like Shrinekeeper, those are going to soak up the 5 mana spot. Probably not a good Dragonclaw Strike deck though, even though I could play it without Reen. Yeah, I'll take another Serpent. Close one. Speculate on Backwater. These 2 on-color creatures are just bad. These are super filler too, the Monastery Messengers. Okay, pack 3, pick 1. Teaming Dragonstorm is phenomenal against more aggressive decks. You get 2 blockers you can trade off into 2 other early plays, and then you pick it up again when you play a dragon and just steamroll the aggro decks in the late game. If you survive long enough to recast it, you're incredibly stable. Clarion Conqueror is pretty sick. Cheap dragon to go with Dragonstorms and the like. 3 mana, 3/3 flyer is a great stat line too. This pack is loaded. I wish these cards were in separate packs. Conqueror, Bewildering Blizzard, Molten Exhale, and Sibsig Appraiser are all insane for this deck. Pack Beast is generally great, but we don't have that high of a creature count to where if we want to take a card, draw creature, Sibsig Appraiser is way better. Jeez Louise, this pack is good. I think I'm low enough on removal to have to take Exhale here for cards that have resolved. Alright, we're splashing a tiny bit of black for Sonic Shrieker. I'm using Dismal Backwater, because Sonic Shrieker is the truth. That land was pretty good too. Pick 4 Osseous Exhale, easy as can be. Pick 5, Jeskai Monument is super, super easy. As the pick again. Might actually play this Embermouth Sentinel now that we're splashing into 2 colors. Blue, white, splash red, and splash black. Play the Dragon's Prey now. Splashing into black. Defib unit. This is not a very good Equilibrium Adept deck, because we could end up hitting a counterspell off of it, and we could also end up hitting a lot of high mana value cards with colors that we don't have access to yet, or just like a 6-drop or something. I don't think we're a good Adept deck. Bloodfell Caves helps the splash. None of these creatures are particularly good for this deck. Pack Beast is very good in the right Mardu deck, but not this one. Riverwalk Technique. I think we're an Unending Whisper deck. No, we're not. And then a little bit of the top end maybe gets cut. Not a Kinguard deck either. Might another Focus the Mind. Oh, probably some Monastery Messengers getting cut too. Ooh, we got a Bewildering Blizzard. Sick. None of this is interesting to me. 24 non-lands. I need 23 non-lands. This is definitely a 17-lander. I guess now that I have a Bewildering Blizzard as well, I could cut Focus the Mind. Still have a Praiser Blizzard and 1 Focus, plus a draw 3, discard 1 River Regent. Yeah, we'll cut Focus the Mind. And then one of those 4 creatures, Sentinel, one of the Serpents, or the Pack Beast as the final cut. Cut one of the Serpents. I got a lot of hard removal in this deck. Alright, cool. Jeskai, or Blue-White Dragon's Control, splashing red and splashing black. Pretty fun one. Tons of removal and some counter spells. So we use the card draw to get ahead in those games where we just 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, and then get ahead in cards off a draw 3 of some kind. Or control the game long enough to get ahead just by playing a big, bomby, scary creature like a Shrieker or a Shrinekeeper or Regent. Solid looking deck here. Pretty excited to see how it does. Without further ado, let's hop right into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game 1. Just gonna chill out till we cast a River Regent. Hope the deck can get there. Another blue deck from our opponent. Blue-red. Roiling Dragonstorm. That would have been awesome in this deck. I'm already jealous. Dragonologist. That was a pretty important time to have a Dispelling Exhale, because now we have been 2 for 1 officially. Teamer from our opponent. There's the Thornwood Falls. Don't really want to exhale that till I have the mana to exhale plus Focus the Mind. If I really want to Focus the Mind this turn. But if they don't play any dragons, then Dragonologist doesn't matter that much. Yeah, I mean, if they just send in here, I'll do this. They're probably playing dragons. They've got a Dragonstorm on the board. Rejuvenator's the play, sure. Draw 3, ditch 1, goodbye, Plains number 4. Oh, that has been awkward this game. Have not found either splash. As of turn number 6. Rejuvenator's a pretty good card to bounce back to their hand. Little bit sad we're only bouncing 1 card, but this is still a good turn. Forces them to have a pretty good removal spell or just basically die. Because if they don't kill the Regent, we're making a second off of Fleshcrafter. So if they cannot kill a 6/7 this turn, then this game's basically over. They can't kill the 6/7 this turn, so Ripperoo. It's gotta feel absolutely awful for our opponent. It's just a brutal sequence, 2 river regions in a row. Rejuvenator again. Strike Master again, that's all they've got. Praise for some mana here. There's no world in which this is right, but I'm taking Sonic Shrieker, I don't care. I've got the Riverwalk technique up for any spell they cast trying to kill either of these to counter that. The only other way they don't die is by playing creatures that are good enough to block them, and if they play creatures that are good enough to block them, I just bounce them. So Riverwalk technique guarantees the kill here. I pass turn. Put a stop on our upkeep. Here's the counterspell. And there's the concession. Start things off 1-0, heading into game 2. Game number 2. On the draw here, we have our 3 mainest colors, but I need black as well for the Sonic Shrieker. It's a little bit awkward. But we've got great cheap removal in the hand. It's a definite keeper. Alright, no treasure from our opponent. That's good. Of course, Arena, as it does, shows us the River Regent was on top of our deck if I didn't shuffle with Evolving Wilds. Always so rude. Descendant of Storms. I'll current that. Defib. Boop. And then Shrine Keeper next turn to draw a card every turn. Hopefully the Kieran draws removal out of their hand if they have any. Let's go. That's one less Molten Exhale that could target our Shrine Keeper. Big bada boom. If they can't kill this immediately, that's going to be the game winner right there. It's already drawn us 1 extra card. Drawing an extra card every single turn. Double Exhale in the opener. Very nice. Well, here's a Pack Beast to keep the pressure on and draw a card. I've got the 7 mana up next turn to have the Riverwalk technique up, and then focus the mind after the Riverwalk technique. Sure. This looks great. Put it on the bottom. Let's draw 3, discard 1. Land Dragonstorm. One of the lands is a black source, but it is a tapped one, sadly. They're down to 7. We Dragonstorm for a couple 2/2s, and we've got well over lethal on board. Not well over, we have 8 damage, they're at 7. Got a Sonic Shrieker to get somebody out of the way on blocks. But they've got a 3rd Molten Exhale. Sick. Let's put them to 1 here. See how they're getting out of this. I also get to recast the Dragonstorm. Yeah. They scoop them up there. That is 2-0 heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3. No white source in the opener, but Sig Appraiser can do a little bit of digging. We have an early Dispelling Exhale to defend ourselves a little bit too. Now we have an Embermouth Sentinel as another way to hit the white. It's the most guaranteed way to do so. 4 color from our opponent. Let's lock in the white here. We see every color but red from our opponent so far. There's Riling Dawnbreaker for a 2/2. Like the Embermouth Sentinel being able to trade up here. Well, looks good to me. So praise, save the exhale for a bigger spell later. Find a Kieran. That's good with Pack Beast. Although that would cost me a lot of mana. It's better with Sig Appraiser, but they've just blown up the Sig Appraiser with this Glacial Dragon Hunt. Discard an Osseous Exhale for the Dragon Hunt. They've basically Osseous Exhaled my Appraiser. There's all 5 colors now when they played that mountain for the Dragon Hunt, not to mention. Well, we're going to stare at each other for a while. I don't think I can not hold up Dispelling Exhale for the rest of this game against a 5-color deck. I was going to say a 6-color deck, but not that. I do think I need to start chipping in for 2 a turn. I can't Pack Beast, still have 8 mana. Or 7 mana if the Kieran resolves and sticks around. So, if Kieran is still alive next turn, then I can play a Pack Beast and still have Dispelling Exhale up. Jeskai Monument, that is really good here. 2 1/1 flyers against my 2/1 flyer, just make it completely useless. And more mana to make my Dispelling Exhale completely useless as well. Nasty. Pack Beast, draw a card and pass. Teaming Dragonstorm, that's pretty nice before I draw any of my dragons, so that we get maximum recast value. Okay, Forecaster's threatening, I've got multiple ways to kill that. Well, Pack Beast gets to push damage now. Ooh, I actually get this Dispelling Exhale value. We managed to counter something. And it was a draw 3. So counteract their 3 for 1. Guess what happens if I hold that Dispelling Exhale when they cast the Sugan? They have the 2 to pay for it anyway. Sick. The Riverwalk technique could have got it, though. God dang it. I recorded yesterday's draft the same day, so if you've seen yesterday's draft, I don't want to get Ugin out of the game twice in one day. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to get Ugin out of the game twice in one day. I guess it's teaming Dragonstorm to go wide around the birds. I miss the era when every single removal spell was destroy target creature or planeswalker. I miss it so bad. I'm trading down into a 1/1 with my 2/1. Just to clear a path here. Otherwise, every single monument they draw for the rest of the game kills my cards. They gain 3 and draw 2 every single turn.
My plan bears fruit.
That's a dragon, so I can't afford to Dragon Spray it.
One step in the stratagem.
And the colorless spell to go with the Ugin for the free exile. Oh, I don't have double red.
I will not die here again. The wise heed my advice.
I think the card's valuable enough to go face on Shrine Keeper. Looking for more threats to pressure Ugin harder next turn. So I don't get to draw the card hitting Ugin.
Insight is vital to success. I grant you a boon.
I don't think I spend an exhale to keep a 2/2.
My plan bears fruit.
Should I spend exhale to get rid of the 2/2 because they top deck to make me discard a card. I could have played around Shrieker sandbagging lands in hand, but I was not considering that as a possibility. Well,
Fate flows as easily as water. Insight is vital to success.
moving on. Here we are on the play for game number 4. We're 2-1 right now, our only loss being to our good old pal Eugene. The mana looks really awkward in this hand, but the Embermouth Sentinel picks up the blue source, so we're really only off of the red. And we naturally draw that blue, so we have all of the colors here, and I'm perfectly happy to trade a Sentinel into a Mardu Devotee to hinder their mana a little bit. Fortress Kingguard has arrived. That one I'm way less happy to trade with. All right. Take a couple points of damage here, because the Sentinel, again, pretty bad against the Kingguard. Nightblade Brigade. Awkward enough for us on blocks to just get the counterspell out of the way here. Now I wish I played Kieran instead, because we drew into the Pack Beast that would have been castable with a Kieran on this board, but is not castable now. Go to 16. Equilibrium Adept. See, this is why I would have been perfectly happy to trade with the Mardu Devotee. It has given them the fixing they needed to play the Adept here. They get a Jeskai Devotee next turn. Tap land. No, at least we get to play the Pack Beast, as we said earlier. Sonic Shrieker. Hey, okay. Tap land. Actually, yes, tap land. Thank you for showing up. I knew that I could use your support. There's the Devotee. Now they've got 2 Devotees on this board to help fix to red, so their mana's pretty perfect. They can filter twice a turn. Yup. There's the Molten Exhale, which wouldn't have been castable unless they had both Devotees on board, because they had to use the first one to get the red to play the second one. Pretty gnarly. Down to 11. Gain 1, draw 1 every turn is a good way to try to stabilize the late game, but I need a more stable position right now, which involves playing a Sonic Shrieker or an Ice Ridge Serpents. Play a decent blocker and slow them down. I like the idea of Serpent bounce the Devotee, because we've killed their other Devotee, to where if they don't naturally draw a red source, now they can't recast that, and they're stuck off of red entirely. There's an Alchemist's Assistant. No Flurry for the Adept just yet, but it looks like it's definitely going to happen here, or else they wouldn't have attacked with it. On Offenza, jeez Louise. Pretty good Flurry, but I've got the 2 damage to kill her. No, not if they buff her. Man. To Riverwalk technique now. Yeah, I can't Sonic Shrieker. On offensive turns into a 6/6. Plains. So Devotee is still stuck. And if they put on Offenza on top, they know they're not hitting a red source next turn either. Lifelink up the Adepts. I do have the life total to Shrine Keeper here. Go to 6, draw a card. Block the 2/4. Oh, Fleshcrafter for 2 Shrine Keepers on the board would be so huge. Okay, the Flurry does kill my Adept. I mean, I'm obviously blocking. Instead of going to 2, I think I'm dead to too many burn spells to go to here. There's the Defibrillating Currents. If I draw a land, it has to be an untapped land. Yeah, that's maybe a little too awkward. I was going to say, if I hit a land off of either Shrine Keepers, if I copy here, then I can do that, plus play the current. It's too risky, though. Actually, Sonic Shrieker seems great here. Kill on Offensa and get a blocker up. And then I'm at 9? Attacking with Shrine Keeper? Yeah, that's fair. They have 1 uncastable card in their hand. Even if they hit the red source, they play 1 card, period. Let's go, let's go. Fleshcrafter time. Draw 2, gain 2 every turn. Ooh, a River Regent coming up. Gross. They go to 3. I could have lethaled them a turn faster if I didn't hold up Shrieker there, but I lived in fear, I'm gonna be honest. Dargans! I'll hold up a Dragon's Prey here. Good old Dargans. We are 3-1, at least a 50-50 record from here. Heading into game number 5. Yep, 3-1. Excellent draft here. At least an average record no matter what, but it can probably get pretty far. We've got some really, really strong bomb power in here. Most of it concentrated with our uncommons, actually, all of our 3-color dragons, but the Meringue River Regent and the clone putting in a lot of work too. All right, here we are on the play for game 5. There is no white source here. And the Fleshcrafter doesn't do anything until somebody puts a creature on the board. But I have great early interaction. And if we do hit the white source, then Dragonstorm is a good way to get things started on the board. I think the card quality and the mana is good enough to keep a potentially risky hand here. Yeah, we hit a white source, it's so good. And I have a decent chunk of white sources in this deck. It's our second most well-represented color. We are playing against Mardu here. They're going to start with the 2/2. I think I'll Molten Exhale that. Second black source before the first white. Pretty unlikely. Pretty bad draw. All right. Got 1 draw step to go before I miss a land drop for having not drawn any lands yet. Well, I drew 1 spell. But for having not drawn the plains, we get really, really punished next turn. Okay, Sipsig Appraiser's super viable here. Draws kind of suck. With no white mana, I think I take the Rebuke. And then later it's possible, even if I don't hit white, I can Rebuke and cast a Dragonstorm or something. There's the white mana. If I Rebuke now, I'm not casting anything off the Rebuke. If I Shrine Keeper, I lock it at least to 2-for-1 guaranteed, and then they have to spend next turn killing the Shrine Keeper, or it just runs away with this game. So we know they don't commit any more to the board. Sonic Shrieker is an excellent draw. If they have really efficient removal, if they have Caustic or Molten Exhale, they get to do that and play a creature. But they don't. They have Salt Road Skirmish. pretty fine. Significant damage here, but we've got tons of life gain in this hand and in this deck in general. We top deck any untapped land, I can Rebuke and Dragonstorm next turn, and that would be wonderful. Perfect. And get our Dragonstorm down before we play a Sonic Shrieker and a copy of Sonic Shrieker. Dragonstorm is really, really good against the Mardu decks. Such an overwhelming horde of blockers. Although they did play a big dragon, so that's not gonna care about the 2/2s on the ground. Yeah, Sonic Shrieker, hold up my 2 exhales. I have the exhale that can kill their dragon or the exhale that can counter the next spell. Yeah, I'm just gonna Fleshcrafter for another Sonic Shrieker next turn. I can spend 4 on the Teeming Dragonstorm and 4 on the Fleshcrafter and do both. Sure. Spelling Exhale that. Let's go. Let's go. Disgusting value. Sack a 2/2 hit for 8. This is Osseous Exhale from our opponent? Okay. That's actually very good there. The life gain too. Sandskitter Outrider, speaking of very good. And that blocks and trades off with 2 of our 2/2s. Or maybe not. Incredible. Top deck is incredible. This is going to be a miserable turn for our opponent. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. We are 4-1. Officially a positive win rate on this draft, no matter where things go from here. Alright, here we are on the draw for game number 6. Decent hand here. We need to hit the red source by our 5th mana. But we have the Kieran early. The Fleshcrafter is going to be really, really nice if they play anything good. They are one of those green decks. So I expect something good to show up. We've got the black source now, so we have every color in the deck except red. Herd Heirloom's kind of terrifying, because they get to draw an extra card every single turn if they have a power 4 or greater creature on board. And they immediately do from Teamer Tawny back. It's just like a build your own Jeskai Shrine Keeper. They're going to start drawing 2 cards a turn every single turn, and that's going to be really hard to come back from. All I needed to compete here was a single red source that I could blow up the Tawny back and make sure they're not drawing extra cards, but since we didn't hit the red source, they are guaranteed to be up at least 1 card from the Herd Heirloom here. Unless they don't want to activate it. Okay. Well, that is quite beneficial. I can either hold up Dispelling Exhale or play a Tawny back, drawing and discarding looking for red. I think I'm under enough pressure that I need to do that. Red mana, nope. Discard the additional planes that we draw into there. They can still draw the extra card this turn because even if I block, they trample and draw one. I'm not highlighting the Herd Heirloom because I don't want them to realize if they've just forgotten about it. That's 2 extra cards they could have just drawn. There was literally no reason not to do it because they didn't end up doing anything with the Herd Heirloom mana anyway. But I will double check the text on the card at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure it's tap it at sorcery speed to give one of your power 4 or greater creatures trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card this turn. Oh, they milled my red source because the Sentinel would have picked up red for me. Tarkir Dragon Ascendant. Hey, I had 2 red sources in a row off the top. Let's go. Well, now we are in this game. Kaboop. And kabop. A mana off from where I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to also Dispelling Exhale. This Stormbrood. I guess because of the treasure token, I couldn't anyway. I play the Pummeler first. If we draw any of our uncommon dragons, we probably win. If we don't, like if we flood here, we probably lose. Okay, Jeskai Monument's not the worst. I can't quite crack this and still have my counterspell up, but they have the mana to pay the 2 for the Stormbrood, so it doesn't matter. Actually, they could, I guess they could counter Jeskai Monument with their Stormbrood, but then they don't have that as a flyer later. Stormbrood, land for turn. Can make their whole board Stormbroods. Hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the sky. Not quite lethal yet, but it's getting close. Sipsic Appraiser, I have the mana for any uncommon dragon I draw into. We do not draw any uncommon dragons, but we do hit a Dragon's Prey that I also have the mana for. Or Riverwalk Technique. Both are great. I just take one of these and then kill whatever they use Fleshcrafter on. Dragon's Prey, I could Dragon's Prey and have Exhale up if I'm killing the Pummeler. Sick. Dispelling Exhale. Herd Heirloom cannot pay for the Exhale, as far as I know. Now I can't kill Stormbrood this turn, but also they don't have the mana to turn everybody into a Stormbrood anyway for Fleshcrafter. They're at 10 life. If I Dragon's Prey the Pummeler, and then Fleshcrafter to make everybody a 3/3, I think they're dead, because 4 creatures get in for 3 apiece, that's 12. Yeah, this should be the kill. All right, 5-1 now, in the money no matter what. Excellent, excellent draft here. Take another peek at that herd heirloom here, but I think the biggest reason we won that game is because our opponent forgot its bonus ability. Yep. Target creature with power 4 or greater gains trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. They would have drawn at least 3 cards with that throughout the game. They hit me with the Teamer Tawny back without using the herd heirloom for mana later that turn, so there was no reason not to draw that card. Then they did it again when I traded with the Tawny back. It would have been they trample over for the 1 and draw the card. And then one time they hit me with the Pummeler, so that would have been the 3rd card they would have drawn. Pretty lucky stuff there. We are 5-1 heading into game number 7. Here we are for game number 7. 3 white spells, no white sources. I can't even cast Focus the Mind until I have 5 mana to try to dig for the white. This is probably too risky. Literally nothing castable till 5 mana if I don't draw white. Yeah. We'll keep this one, but it's also very awkward. Jeskai Shrinekeeper, that makes the hand a lot more exciting. It's got a plan for how to finish things off later. Playing against Obzon, white, black, and green. There's the blue, 4 or 5 color good stuff goop. It is. Gurmag, Night Watches their start, a 3/3, and they set up their next draw. Mill a couple cards, keep the best one on top. Mill 2 Dispelling Exhales and keep the other card. Hey, there's a red source. Bloodfell Caves. Play that tap now, so I have the option of running out Shrinekeeper next turn if they tap out. If they don't tap out a blue, seeing that they're a deck with 2 Exiles in a row, I don't think I cast this into a bunch of open mana. I'm not revealing Shrinekeeper, because then they know to hold up a counter if they have one. Alright, well, they have 1,000,000 mana up. We're just going to pass through that. Fangkeeper's Familiar. Yep, that would have been awful if I cast a spell into that card. Gain 3 and Surveil 3 much weaker than counter Shrinekeeper. They kept all 3 on top. That's not a good sign. Straight gas coming up. Dragon Brood's Relic. Yeah. Unending Whisper again. Well, tapped out of any counters. We get to Shrinekeeper them here. Play my land main phase 2 in case I draw another tap land. We have a chunk of those in this deck. Oh. Alright, Shrinekeeper's almost definitely dead here. Serpent, it has bounced back to my hand, so if they have a counterspell, it's gone. But because I just drew the Regent, we want to get that counterspell spent on Shrinekeeper instead. I can't wait till I have 9 mana. to play this and have the counter for their counter. Yeah. Enough. That's counterless. I pay 4 if they have a dragon in their hand, so again, I have to wait till 9 mana to play around that one. Ooh, tap out for the token. Let's go. I get to blow up a token with the Regent. Sick stuff. Goodbye, token. See ya. Sagu Wildling. 1 card left in their hand. It is not removal for the Regent, so we are already at a good board state. I don't need to change the board at all to win this game, so let's just play the game out with the current board. Keep up our interaction. I will play Embermail Sentinel though, because getting a land straight into play is pretty nice. Sib-Sig Appraiser, can't counter that. Doesn't impact the board too much, but the card draw could be good for our opponent. Go to 14. Another land. Another white source. We're jamming. If I Defibrillating Current, I only get to hold up one of these 2 counter spells. I like holding up both of them. So let's go for the Osseous Exhale instead to win the race. Because I can Osseous Exhale and still have 2 counter spells up. Riverwalk Technique, the Riverwalk Technique, and then I still have Exhale if they have Exhale. Boom. Hit for 8, they're at 5. 2 removal spells up if I need them. Ice Ridge Serpent, slow down the river region here, but then I bounce their whole board. So they have no blockers up. I don't actually want to bounce either of those creatures though, which is a little bit awkward. Okay, 1 final draw step for our opponent. Dragon Brood's Relic. I don't... If they have the mana for that immediately, they can chump and be alive. They shoot face, block there, stay at 4. If they block there, they die. Yeah, they chump and stay at 4. Been worse for me if they killed one of those 2. Alright. Concession from our opponent. They missed a draw that turn, and the River Regent just pilots us straight to victory. That is 6-1 now. Only 1 win away from a 7-win run today. Could be pretty dang sweet. We've got 2 rounds in the chamber for this final boss. Alright, here we are for round 1 of the final battle. We have all 4 of our colors thanks to Embermouth Sentinel, so while it is a really awkward curve, I'm going to keep it regardless. and hope for some decent draws. Any spell in the deck is a castable draw with this hand. I guess not our double blue dragon, but anything but that. Well, even that, we can spend the 4 to draw 3, discard 1. Furious Forebear from our opponent. So they're Jeskai, but they're on the aggressive edge of Jeskai here. Trading here still keeps the Forebear off of us for quite some time. Slows our opponent down a lot, which is important. Ew, Voice of Victory, so I can't cast spells during their turn. Well, literally the only choice is to Dragon Spray it. I could Riverwalk Technique it as well, but whatever I do, I have to do at sorcery speed against that card. It's very, very good against blue. Sonic Shrieker was one of the best draws in the whole deck. That's a sick one. Sadly, they don't play any 2 toughness creatures for it this turn. But still really nice to have. Sure. Kill a Sun Pearl Kieran. Well, prowess guys are going to put in some work for sure. But so will the Sonic Shrieker. Even if they just immediately have removal for it, it gained us 2 life, killed one of their blockers, and made them discard a removal spell. War Effort. Oh boy, that is bad for me. If they have a prowess trick, they win the fight even if I block the warrior. I've got a Riverwalk Technique to respond to their trick later. I think I have to take it right now. Oh. This deck is a 10 out of 10 genius build, unstoppable, perfect deck, 5-head level, high intellect build. I am the god of Tarkir Dragonstorm. All in on Narset finding a way to deal with the River Regent. Makes sense. Sadly, 1 mana off from double technique. But they are dead in a turn if I just technique their removal for our dragon. If they play a reach creature or a flyer, we let it resolve because I can spend the other technique to bounce that later. The only way to play 2 techniques this turn is to spend 1 on the removal. Okay, so if they use encampment, hold up. 2 damage apiece. This also has... No, it doesn't have mobilize. It's a different one right there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's not lethal. Only use technique if they're going to kill me with something or if they're going to kill my flyer with something. Oh, it's 11. Yeah, I forgot about War Efforts mobilized too. Still not lethal. That would have been embarrassing. I just miscounted and it is lethal. Okay, no reach, no flyers. They are dead. I didn't even need any castable spells to win this game in this final hand. All right, Daubers 7-1. Great way to end these vacation drafts. A full trophy win, full trophy run. Yeah, awesome deck. When you get incredible bomb rares, the deck kind of builds itself. This is kind of like a unique, pretty strange strategy, though. I wouldn't say it like fully builds itself or anything, going for the blue-white base kind of Dragon's Control deck here. But it has a lot of the same basic tenets of a lot of the format when you're doing 4 or 5 color stuff. It's like, yeah, when there's no really good interaction or really good creatures, just take fixing so that you are open to being able to play other great off-color cards like these in the deck. So yeah, very similar to the blue-based 4 or 5 color decks that we've played many times before. Yeah, not too much to say about it. It was pretty simple magic here. Just resolve bomb dragons and win games. We only have the one major bomb rare dragon, but the Fleshcrafter copying any of our premium dragons was always fantastic. And we have the 2 great uncommon bomb dragons as well. Both of these, I would say, are borderline bomb tier, even though they're not rares like the River Regent is. So those won games as well. Pretty fun deck, pretty powerful deck. Really lucky gameplay, honestly. There were a lot of these games where we had really slow, kind of janky hands, but we ended up in matchups where our opponents were not like the great Mardu deck curving out on us or anything. And we dodged particularly big bombs from any of the 4 and 5 color decks, so we really dodged anything too scary from the matchups, which helped the deck a lot in terms of its power level. I definitely think it's a little weaker and more inconsistent than a lot of the decks we've been playing lately that have ended up like 4-3 and stuff. In Tarkir Dragonstorm, that is. So I guess for you all at the time of recording, lately would mean like multiple weeks ago. But I guess a good comparison is I think this deck is pretty much exactly as powerful as the deck that we had yesterday. And that deck went way worse than this deck in terms of win rate. So that was a little sad. But hey, at least we got a 7-1 on this one to wrap it all up. Have it be a nice positive record overall. 2,200 gems and 6 packs is the prize out today. That is a huge one. And that's about gonna do it for these pre-recorded drafts. Starting tomorrow, maybe the day after, I will be back from vacation and we'll be back with brand new drafts of whatever flashback format or cube they have up right now. And in just a couple days, we've got the launch of Final Fantasy on Arena. That'll be super exciting. So great stuff on the horizon and a great draft today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more like it, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.